Hi there everyone, Rob here with today's Western Pacific weather update. It's currently the 27th of May 2012. Down here in the Western Pacific, we are watching the remnants now of severe tropical storm Sanvu. It's moving off towards the northeast, so really not much more expected with that, but we're going to take a look at also what's going on across much of the rest of the Western Pacific here and going into the tropics throughout the remainder of the week, but also still seeing some rainfall there in China, and the South West Monsoon is really beginning to kick in. So let's start here first with our final update on Tropical Storm Sanvu, or a typhoon by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. And actually, I do think it did make it to a very weak typhoon status. This was due to an inner eye wall forming up in the center of Sanvu here as it passed by Iwoto. But also some wind reports out of Iwoto were showing about 54 knots. Now that's about 10 knots below the sustained winds you need for a typhoon status on this system. And that's one of the reasons why I do think that JMA actually kept it as a severe tropical storm, maxing out with sustained winds about 60 knots, which were considerably lower than actually what JTWC had. But you have to remember, one uses a 10-minute wind scale and the other one a 1-minute wind scale. And what that means is actually 1 minute it is easier to get those winds up a little bit higher. But do remember as well, though, no official reports came out of the center of the system. Unlike in the U.S., the system would have been investigated, but no hurricane or typhoon hunters are out here in the Western Pacific. So the only wind reports we're going off of here that were official were actually out of Iwo Jima, and you had those wind reports of about 54 not sustained. Let's talk about this tropical system, though. It is moving off towards the northeast now, and it's basically following in behind this trough of low pressure. You see this big long frontal system right in here. That's actually what we've been calling the Mayu, or the rainy season stationary front. It's extending all the way out here towards the east, and interaction with the Siberian high weakening and the increasing of the Westpac high down here towards the south. And what that's doing is really just forcing this low to quickly rush off towards the northeast as it gets wrapped up within the jet stream that is supporting this trough. And here's a look at actually what JMA has on their most recent warning of 45 knots running off there towards the northeast. And this is actually the first time during the life cycle of this storm that the Joint Typhoon Warning Center out of Pearl Harbor has also had the similar winds of 45, gusty up to 55 knots on their wind scale. Now this is currently here on the 27th. I was talking earlier about what the max winds were during the peak intensity of these tropical systems, but now this looks like it's weakening out. So let's talk about what is expected here in the next week as far as the tropics, and it could get relatively active here actually. And this is looking at the no gaps model, or the Navy model here. Now the tropical system Sanvu is pushing off there towards the northeast, eventually weakening out completely as it gets tore apart with the westerlies. But check this out, going into Monday and then in the midweek, right there in the Philippine Sea, just east of Luzon, a low pressure area begins to spin up here. And actually, it does look like no gaps really kind of keeps this here spinning there just east of the Luzon Strait. So what does that mean? Well, at this time, just that this whole region here needs to be a continued watch. There's lots of moisture currently lingering around much of the Philippine Sea. And actually, if we look at this total precipitable water vapor imagery, you can see that there is an abundant amount of moisture down here, and this is all the amount of water vapor in the air. And actually the darker reds are indicating just a copious amount. You see the Southwest Monsoon out here across much of the South China Sea, extending down there towards the Gulf of Thailand. That's what's bringing all those really intense rain showers across much of this area. And also very clearly you can see Sanvu over the past several days just spitting up here and running just east of Iwoto before running off there towards the north. But all of this moisture down here towards the south is going to be able to fuel another system if one does decide to develop down here. And already a low pressure area has been stamped by the Japan Meteorological Agency there just east of the Philippines. So if anything, this could develop up something and push off there towards the west, bringing some heavy rainfall towards the eastern portions of Luzon going into the mid part of this week. So something to continue to watch. Now we're going back to the model here, but this is with the GFS model, not the no gaps model. So different platforms, but the same look here. And if we go into the next several days, you see a little low spitting off there just east of the Philippines, and then by midweek nothing really becomes organized out of it. So GFS really doesn't want to develop this one up so much, but let's go into the next several days here and just continue to keep an eye on it. But what I do think is that some rainfall is going to be in store, and even up to the potential of being a flooding or even landslides there, especially along the eastern slopes of Visayas in Luzon and some of those mountainous terrains as you get that uplift that could squeeze out some of these showers. So something to watch here going through this week. And also on tropical related, let's look off there towards the north, because into China you are expecting this area of low pressure to rush out on Tuesday. That could push off there towards the northeast, and even on Tuesday some light showers across much of northern Japan due to an unsettled area. But then if we go through the middle of next week, Thursday, it does look like more rain showers are going to be expected here across the southern Japan. So Tuesday, northern Japan, Thursday, southern Japan, due to two different separate systems, but they're all going to be running off there towards the east. And also I do want to remind you that as closer and closer we get to June, it does look like the rainy season front will slowly work its way back off towards the north, and then it's going to be affecting here across central China, extending all the way over towards Japan. It usually lingers here. Right now, though, it's actually farther down here towards the south. This is about the position of it currently, but as that high pressure over Siberia continues to weaken and that thermal low that we see developing during the summer months, which creates the South West Monsoon down here in the tropics, that whole front is going to continue to switch a little bit farther north, so you're going to be seeing more rain showers. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as always, please post them in the comment box below. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Bye. One other thing, I'm going to be starting to end the videos with showing you a clip and just trying to spark some topic of conversation here. Basically, just kind of a guess where these videos are often shot. Usually they're from me, but if you have any suggestions, why don't you just go ahead and email me your video clips from around the Western Pacific, and we can always share them here at the end of the video updates. Just showing. So here's this one for today. I would like to see all your comments, and then tomorrow I'll go ahead and answer where I would actually shot this video at. So have a great day. Bye.